What is up, ladies and gentlemen, fans and friends? We are back once again. I am the custodian of charisma. I am the ophthalmologist of optimism. She is the sultan of sarcasm. She is the sorceress of sass. I am Brady. She is Danielle. Together, we are the best friends in all the land, aka the heel marks. And this is Mark of Honor. This is the best, and to our knowledge, possibly the only Ring of Honor post show out there on the market. If you are joining us from that YouTube page, go ahead and do what you do best. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe on the BodySlamNet pages. Support the whole network. And if you guys are in that YouTube, go ahead, go to slamchats.com. Support the network with your donations. Drop those comments in. Be a part of the conversation. We want to hear from you. And of course, your donations do help the entire network. Danielle, are we ready to talk about Ring of Honor?
Oh, we are ready to talk about Ring of Honor.
You sure?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I mean,
yeah,
it seems like this is the time we do it, right? This is the time we do it,
I feel like this is the type of show where we would talk about Ring of Honor.
Right. That's what we do here.
I mean, if it's any time to talk about it, it should be now.
Offhand, just real quick, off the rip, what did you think overall about tonight's show? T to B.
It seemed very fast. Like it was
just, you know, it's funny. A few weeks ago, like the show ended super late, and ever since, I feel like the shows have been ending early. Granted, there are no commercials, so it probably shouldn't be a 2-hour show. But I do see what you're saying.
The pace was very fast. I felt like backstage segments were very, very fast. I felt like everybody was speeding. I didn't hate the show, but I mean, you know, it has the same problems that I've had been talking about with, you know, moving storylines forward, having storylines. I feel like I'm watching matches just to watch them. I will say one of my new thing every week is going to be, where is our ROH champion? That's going to be my thing, because I wasn't aware that Eddie was Roman Reigns.
I mean, listen, he's not Roman Reigns, but he's tired, Danielle. Okay?
He can make an appearance and talk.
Eddie Kingston is tired. No,
Eddie Kingston loves to talk.
No. I get what you're saying, and I 100% agree. I 100% had that in my notes as well. It does kind of seem like the only constant when it comes to champions is Kyle Fletcher. Our TV champion is,
which I'm okay with.
TV every week. We did, and we will get to it. We did finally get some champions that I've been clamoring for back on the show. But it does seem like we're not able to get them all. We can't. This is not Pokemon. We cannot collect them all.
I mean, I feel like if you eliminated some matches, you could do it.
I think, you know what, we're going to get to it.
Yeah,
but let's get to the show. We start off with a newly face, Nyla Rose, squashing like a bug Erica Lee. And this, for me, was a fun one because we spoke about this last week when Nyla began her feud with Athena. It did seem like, okay, now they're giving her a shot as a face. Maybe not a baby face. She's not going to be the goody two shoes, but we're supposed to cheer for her now. And so to me, this felt like a different match than a normal Nyla Rose squash match. Did you sense the same thing?
Yeah, she's the foil to Athena's plan, you know? She's the anti-hero, kind of.
Yeah, she's the final boss. She's the final boss.
She's great. Yeah. So this is definitely, even her wrestling style was different because it was more baby face-ish, but not baby face-ish. You know what I mean?
She was playing to the crowd more, you know?
Playing to the crowd and being receptive. I have to say, this crowd was in Jacksonville, Florida. They were hot. I have to say, this is a good crowd.
Daly's place is good to them.
This is a good crowd, yeah. I've been making note of where they are a lot now because I like to hear the reaction. W2, you know. So, and like you said, you told me it's either before or after, like they
Dynamite and Collision,
Dynamite or something. Yeah. So, like, but this crowd was fun. They were chanting a lot. They were chanting for both wrestlers sometimes. Like there was never a silence, which I liked.
Yeah, yeah. And there were some matches that I thought were louder than others, but with
Oh,
this match, not necessarily the case. But here's what I like about Nyla Rose: she trash talks during the match, and
love it.
because of the fact that the crowd's not really making so much noise,
You
like
hear
even if they're
everything.
making noise, they're not, it's just not a huge crowd. You
Right.
can it's almost like she's cutting a promo during
I
the
love it.
match. And for me, especially as someone who, as I said, I'm a fan of this Nyla Rose character. I'm a fan of Nyla Rose, the person, and I like seeing those two blended more. Her just trash talking and me laughing hysterically at it. Like, to me, that's a nice new aspect of what we can expect from a babyface Nyla Rose.
And it's almost like we're allowed to like her now. You know how, like, obviously, like, we root for heels because we are, in fact, heel marks and we love
Right,
heels. But,
right.
we know when you're not supposed to cheer for a heel because a heel wants to be booed. And this is this case where, like, we would cheer for her if she was a heel, but we're happy we get to cheer for her because she's a face.
Exactly. Exactly. And like, it was real fun to see her work as a face, and I'm looking forward to her match against Athena. I'm looking forward to seeing her continue as a babyface even past that. I hope we get to see this version of Nyla Rose on AEW television as well. I want to see her as much as possible. I want to mention that her choke slam it looked thunderous. Like, that was a
Yeah.
great choke slam, so good. And like, this was a squash match, so I'm okay with it kind of being used as a setup that it maybe shouldn't have been. But I wouldn't mind seeing her end some matches with that,
Oh, yeah.
like,
Yeah. What's her
or at least
finisher
get.
again?
She's got the beast bomb.
Oh, the Beast Bomb. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I went blank. I was like, I know her finisher. I just can't think of it. Yeah.
No,
Oh, yeah. The choke
and that's
slam.
and that bomb is thunderous as well. So like, I'm
Oh,
okay
yeah.
with it. Like, let's not abandon it. But having two dominating looking powerful finishers in your arsenal is especially good, especially as you slide into a number one contendership position.
Definitely. Definitely. And she's just fun to listen to. I really
I
enjoy
mean,
her.
speaking of listening to her, should we talk about her backstage interview? It came later, but should we just talk about it now,
Yes.
since we've got
Yes.
Nyla on the brain?
Let me tell you, when she said the head case that used to run the place, I popped so hard. I was like, this is
Oh yeah,
gold. This is
that was
gold.
fantastic.
What a line. What a great, great line.
Well,
Yeah.
for
It
me,
was,
from the beginning, I popped even before Nyla got started, just because the way Nyla and Lexi were playing off each other.
yeah.
Like, instantaneously, the second it started, Lexi screaming, Nyla's like, "What are you doing? What kind of interview? Pick up your microphone and speak into it like a lady." Like, I died when she said that.
Dude, Lexi's one of my favorites right now. Like, I know I talked about her last week. Like, I love her. I think she's really fantastic. She's not just like a face behind the mic that we're just like, wait, who is that? And we kind of know her name. Like, she's making a name without overpowering or
Right.
stepping over toes for the interviewee.
She never does too much, and and it's because most of what she's doing is nearly playing off the other person.
100%.
She's letting them do their thing, and she's reacting. She's playing off it as she's supposed to. And so, like, she did a lot in the beginning. Then Nyla got started, and she took a step back. She held the mic up as she should,
Right.
and she did her thing. Then eventually, as Nyla said something like, "Oh, Athena has said that she's going to be the new head of the Minions," then of course Lexi goes crazy. No, 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 impossible. But then
What a
the
line.
greatest thing ever happens. What is it, Danielle? I know you want to say
You respect my authority.
it. Yeah, I literally wrote in my notes. She said Texas as Tejas, and she did a Cartman impression. This is the best thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I literally put you will respect my authority. Ha 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 in all caps.
Yeah,
That was
she
great.
said actions speak louder than words, and baby, I'm a screamer. And
Oh
then
yeah.
as the interview ends, she ends it with, "I love mini golf. Billy Starks."
Yeah. Where's
I'm
my
sorry, but
club?
I popped for this entire segment. Everything about, as predicted by the heel marks, everything about a Nyla Rose face turn so far is
So
looking like
good.
it's going to be pure gold.
It's gonna be fun.
Absolute gold.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Speaking of fun, I had a great time with you complaining about where our ROH Tag Team Champions, but finally I can stop because they were here on the
They were
show
here. I was
where
like,
they're
Brady,
supposed to
you
be.
manifested it. You did it.
I mean, is manifesting it the same as complaining for like 3 weeks in a row? Where the fuck are our chips? It was probably only 2 weeks. It was probably only two. It was probably only two.
Yes.
But technically,
Well,
I don't think MJF ever did anything with those belts on ROH. So really, we have been without tag champs for like ever.
Yeah, I
So
loved seeing this. I loved seeing this
we
so much. I was very happy that I was like, oh, look, the ROH tag champs are on ROH. Oh, how
defending their
delightful.
titles as they
Defending their
should be.
titles.
That's one thing I do like about ROH, where and like maybe that's why our champions disappear and come back, because the truth is we don't see them in non-title matches very often. Like maybe Eddie
Yeah, they
Kingston,
don't do.
depending
Do
on.
they do non-title match? Yeah, they have to do.
This is what I'm saying. Like they
Yeah.
do them, but this is what I'm saying. For the most part, like here we go. Our tag team champions come here, and when I was watching this match, I'll be honest, I didn't actually know the titles were on the line so much that who was it? It was Sauce Hoss.
Sauce.
When
Yeah.
Beefcake Boulder, when Boulder does the power bomb, power slam, and they went in for the near fall, I actually thought that was a believable near fall because in my mind it was a non-title match, and maybe the Iron Savages were going to pull it off and kind of use that as a way to get a title shot.
It's so funny you say that. So as I was watching, I was kind of thinking the same thing, and I was like, "Ooh, are they going to give the Iron Savages the win here over the tag champs because they haven't been here?" And then when they said, "Oh, we might have new tag champs," I was like, "Oh,
Right.
nope, that's not happening." I was like, "Oh
Right.
man."
Exactly. But no, I loved this. It was a great selection for tag team number contenders. I kind of scratched my head at neither one of the tag teams that main evented last week being in it, but it was a slight scratch. It was a
Hey,
slight scratch.
I'm okay with Iron Savage. You know that.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's not just that we're fans of them, but these two I think are believable contenders for any championship. And I'm including like a TV championship here. Either of these two against Fletcher, it would still look believable to me. The way these guys work, the fact that like Boulder is a boulder, and he's able to do so many impressive things with his power, with his body, and yes, with Titty City. More on that later. But then you've got Bronson, who's so versatile, like so versatile.
Yeah, they're such big guys compared to Mike Bennett and Mac Taven that it was but they're so what's the word? Agile, you know? Like they just float. And it's really impressive to watch.
Yeah, and it was fun seeing the champs because it was a good reminder of how fucking good Mike Bennett and Matt Taven are.
I was just going to ask you, how do you feel about Matt Taven? Because I love Matt Taven and I know people hate him. Like hate him.
Oh, yeah. But
like,
I think I think he's done that. Like he got hated. I don't think
but like I know people that like hate him as a wrestler, not like they think he's a terrible wrestler. I think he's great. I loved his purple gimmick when he was champion. I love all of that stuff. I think his gimmick works. I think his look works. I think his wrestling abilities. I think everything about Matt Taven works. And I also just love Matt Bennett. So it's like whatever.
I mean, the fun thing about these two is because I truly think they're good enough to be like single stars. Like I mean that. Like we saw Taven get a run as champion in ROH, the OG ROH, and we've seen Bennett in the past get his solo runs, do his thing with Maria. But in this match, I kind of got reminded of how good they both are also, because it's been so long since I feel like I've seen them really go. We've seen them do their goofy stuff with Roddy for so long. And, you know, they've been serious on AEW, but in ROH, we finally get to see them, and they look like a consistently strong tag team here. Like, again, and against big guys like, you know, the Iron Savages. I just think this is a really good showing for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really made Undisputed Kingdom look dominant, which I really liked without taking away from Iron Savages. That's a big thing that I like in wrestling, where both components of wrestlers make each other look good without anybody losing anything. I'm a big fan of that. And it's and showcasing everybody.
And I think a part of that is the fact that apparently Mike Bennett is like a secret powerhouse. This guy's lifting these. Yeah, did you see him? He's lifting these people like you were nothing and kind of throwing them around.
He's like RVD and Claudio, who just like pick people up and throw them.
He's like Leo Rush. Remember Leo Rush used to pick up Keith
Lee? Yeah. Was Leo Rush in a tag team with him? No. Who was Leo Rush in a tag team with?
Leo Rush and Keith Lee, I think, were in a tag team for like a little bit.
No. Someone white, but it wasn't Jay White. Was it Jay White?
When you say someone white, do you mean color or do you mean name?
Yeah, it's a white person.
Okay, you should lead with Jay White. You leave me very confused.
But now I'm like, was it Jay White? Sorry.
Listen, the only thing I'm going to say about the Iron Savages, and I love them, I think Titty City is missing something. Like, and maybe it's because of the fact that this happened. Titty, when they scream "time for Titty City" and they just rub his face, the other person's face, like in his, area. Yeah. It never bothered me until now, and maybe it's because it was a tag team championship match, and I feel like that is silly, and it got thwarted as it should have. Like, it didn't work. I'm kind of thinking they could make Titty City work because they spend so much time talking about it. They really want to get Titty City over. If you make Titty City an actual offensive maneuver. So, for example, he actually pulled out, Sauce Hoss was pulling out some splashes when, they were both in the corner. You go back and forth. And basically, their heads are going right into that area. That should be Titty City.
Like Rikishi's booty?
Kind of.
But like just rubbing yeah. Okay, yeah. Making it a move instead of just yelling it and not really doing anything.
Well, no, like he's already got the move. He's got these corner splashes that he does that basically does the same thing. Their head gets squished right in there. Just call that Titty City. Don't actually do, because when you take someone's head and actually just rub it in there, it reminds me of fucking the Nasty Boys and sticking heads up in people's armpits and calling, you know what I mean? Like
they talk about eating butts.
They stopped talking about eating butts, Danielle. They're butt clean.
Did I manifest that? Did I complain enough about that they stopped?
I think that happened. Yeah. Hey, they're taking your notes.
Thank you.
But yeah, very happy to have our champions back. The United Kingdom retain in a great tag team match.
So many tag teams on ROH, so I can't wait to see them all go against them. They should have a match every week. Do it.
Yeah, I see that. Next match, we got Claudio Castagnoli, who also should have a match every week, defeating Brian Keith. These guys had a great match together, but I think that's impossible. You can't say that with Claudio's in the ring. Claudio brings the best out of everyone he works with.
Mm-hmm. He'd bring the best out of me.
Okay. I knew, like, at some point, I'm not even setting you up for these.
What? What? I love Claudio. He's daddy. I love him.
So
Sorry, I got distracted. Sorry. Go ahead.
For me, this match seemed to be about how much Brian Keith could take. It was a lot of Claudio on offense, a lot of Claudio just piling on the pasta on him.
That sounds delicious. Yeah, it was definitely that, and it definitely showcased Brian Keith a lot, and I like that they're using him ever since he debuted. They're using him. I think he's had a match almost every single week right now, right?
He's been pretty consistently used for sure.
Yeah, he's been pretty consistent, which I'm liking, and I thought this match was really good. I really like Brian Keith also, even though I love Claudio. I really like Brian Keith, and I like watching him.
Here's one thing that puzzled me, and we talked about, where's our ROH champion? Listen, and I brought up I already said there's a good chance, there's reasons for it. We'll probably have him next week. But it's like, if the champion's not there, for every other championship, they seem to be doing a great job of, like, if Athena's not there, a women's match will happen. And then they'll talk about, this puts her in line for a new championship. Or they talk about the new TV championship that's coming for the ladies. If somebody wins a match, and we saw it happen multiple times today, it seems like every singles win puts somebody closer to the ROH TV championship. But not one person did they mention, ooh, this might get him a shot at ROH World Champion Eddie Kingston? No. Like, Claudio is a former ROH World Champion.
Right.
Brian Keith is a brand new signing here. You know, as you said, he's been featured consistently since making his debut. Why not use this match to reference one of these guys? Whoever wins this gets closer to Eddie Kingston.
But will they? Because Eddie Kingston never shows up. Because he's tired.
Listen, like I said, he's gonna be here next week, and so putting somebody in position to challenge him would have been good. I hope this Triple Crown thing doesn't end up biting us in the ass, where like that's why. And we mentioned it, I think, last week also, the fact that he's champion in New Japan, he's champion in AEW, he's champion in ROH. Three championships, three companies. So that means he could easily just miss ROH for a few weeks because he's here, because he's there, because he's, you know what I mean?
Because he's everywhere.
Exactly.
He's probably just in his bed sleeping because he's tired.
That must be it. I listen, I'll take Claudio any way I can get him in terms of
me too.
Shut the fuck up, you horn dog. I can't even do
You
this
set it up. You set me up for that.
I didn't set you up for shit, woman.
As soon as you said it, you knew.
I'm trying to have an honest conversation about two men doing their all.
I was agreeing with you. I was agreeing with you and thought your comment was very clever and brilliant and insightful.
Hey, Danielle, what's 8 times 9?
21.
Next match. It was a ladies' highlight reel. One thing I loved is that before Claudio and Brian Keith had their match, we saw a little bit from the bad girls, Robin Renegade, TV, and Rachel and Layla Hirsch. We saw them have an interview in the back. They were talking about it. I like Robin Renegade. Robin Renegade's showing me a lot character-wise. She's standing out for me.
Really? I was going to ask you if she went a little overboard.
No, not for me. She won me over with the deuces. That's very New York. I like it. I'm not going to look her up and see where she's from. I liked her
talking in the match. I don't know how I felt about this backstage segment. Though I loved, I think it was Leah Hirsch who was like, why don't you do something with that hair? When Taya was like, I'm going to do something. And she's like, why don't you do something with your hair? I thought that was funny. I popped for that.
Well, I didn't pop for that. I popped for what was said right before that, because it was Taya saying that Layla needs to do something about her wardrobe, and she was wearing a fucking Eagles jersey, so she definitely did need to do something about her wardrobe.
Yeah, she did. Friggin' Eagle.
Pop for that. Like,
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even know she was wearing an Eagles shirt because I would have been pissed.
I noticed it the whole fucking time, and then as soon as she said you need to do something about your wardrobe, I fucking popped.
You're like, yeah, you better. Stupid Eagles shirt. Nobody should be wearing an Eagles shirt. You're like me, trash.
But back to the match. We got Billy Starks, Lady Frost, Kiera Hogan, Queen Aminata, the Team Good Girl, defeating TV, Taya Valkyrie, Robin Renegade, Rachel Elling, and the Eagles fan, Layla Hirsch.
Yeah, she's officially.
I'm surprised Tony let her wear the Eagles jersey on here. Like, I know Britt's always rocking the Pittsburgh, but get that Philly stuff out of here.
Nobody likes Philly ever. Nobody cares, Sean. Nobody cares.
Right, Pittsburgh is fine. I got no beef with Steelers.
I love Steelers. Steelers are my FC team. I love the Steelers.
No beef. Philly.
No.
Philly can suck it.
Philly Cowboys is like nope. It used to be the Chargers when Philip Rivers was on it, but now.
For this match, I thought Renegade really did, as you mentioned, she found other ways to stand out in this match again, and she had the most to prove because everyone else in this match is relatively proven. Technically, not necessarily Billy Starks, but Billy Starks is she just made it. Yeah. She's still so young. She's on the rise. She ends up getting the pinfall in this match. Lady Frost is a veteran of sorts. Everyone's been clamoring for her to get signed somewhere, put on television. She's here. Kiera Hogan, same deal. Queen Aminata is just being put on a throne real early. She's coming in as a high profile signing. And then you've got TV, Elling, and Hirsch. These are all vets. So Robin Renegade needs to stand down. She found ways to do it. Not just in the ring, but her character, just showcasing it.
Queen Aminata, is that how you're saying? Aminata? I always feel like I'm gonna say it
Yes.
wrong. I really like her. I think, like you said,
She's the best.
they came in like a big signing, like feeling like she was a big signing, really putting her over. I'm really liking her a lot. I think she's really dominant, and I'm liking her a lot. And I like seeing Kiera Hogan because I love Kiera Hogan.
Yeah, agreed. I think I like that they're doing matches like this only because they do have so many women, like especially that they're using on this show. And I wish ROH was really more of its own brand as opposed to kind of like a feeder to AEW. But at the same time, listen, let's do it. If we're fans of these women, we want to see them on AEW. We want to see them on every TV show there is possible. And having matches like this, getting on these shows, putting on these performances, that's ways to do it. So as much as we're seeing Billy Starks thrust into the Athena storyline, as a minion,
right,
with everyone else, Kira Queen and Lady Frost, these are all ways to showcase themselves, and then boom. Next thing you know, we see him on Rampage. We see him on Collision. We see him on Dynamite. We see him challenging our women's champion, our TBS champion. So I like this match. It was a fun showcase for me.
Right. Three women's matches on a show. That's nice. I like that.
And it's becoming the reg. Like it's becoming the norm.
And that's okay. And it's
ROH.
good. And it should be like that.
Right. 100%. Also, what I'd like to see is the norm is seeing Butcher and Blade and Top Flight.
I was really excited for
seeing
this
these guys on Ring of Honor. These guys kind of, for me, it's kind of like a wake up call. Like, oh, wait a minute, wait, Top Flight's here. Wait, Butcher and the Blade is here. Okay, let's go. Tag division gets better and better every single week. We never know who might pop up.
I really like this match. I also love that you found out that Butcher is a metal guitarist for a band called Every Time I Die.
Yeah.
I was like, I did not know that. And I was very excited to hear that. I was like, what? He's a metal guitarist? All right. I said, all right now.
I actually remember finding that literally the day Butcher and Blade made their debut on like Dynamite. Like when they made their
I didn't know that.
Well, because I go out of my way to we follow them on Instagram, like
like,
oh wait, who's this? Let's follow. And he was still like his Instagram was all guitar stuff.
His band, I think, is only from like 2016 or something.
Right.
Yeah, it's early. I thought that was cool because then immediately, obviously, I looked it up and I was like, I need to look up all this. I can't say enough about Butcher and Blade. I love Top Flight. I'm so glad to see them back. But man, do I love Butcher and Blade. Because Butcher and Blade also look like that type of wrestlers that you think are like, I know this sounds awful to say, but like past their prime almost. And they're just like the vets that are putting other people over. But it's not even about that because they're so good. I remember I was in Atlantic City with my friends on a Friday night and they were on AEW and I couldn't take my eyes off. I think I texted you at one point and I was like, yo, the Butcher and Blade are so good. They're so good in the ring. And like, they look like the type of wrestlers that like other wrestlers trust and know that like they'll take care of them in the ring.
They're a throwback to like old school tag teams. They're a throwback to old school ass kickers. Everything they do looks like it hurts, but we know their opponents are always taken care of.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like an old saying William Regal used to say. It was like, I hit people very hard, but I hit them in the right places. Something like
that. Yeah. And like for Top Flight with all their poor situation, one getting hurt and then the other, it's so nice. Like this is a good team to put them with to take care of them and make sure that they're okay.
It's so good to see them back together again.
Yeah, honestly, I was really excited.
ROH can be like a really good place for them.
Yes,
like
100%.
Like you know what I mean? Like especially because not everyone can compete for the AEW Tag Team Championships all the time, and even if you do compete for the Tag Team Championships, it seems like there's always somebody who's not Tag Team Champion saying we're the best tag team in the world. So that just like sometimes the AEW Tag Division gets a little crowded. Not to say the ROH Tag Division doesn't, but Top Flight can really be showcased properly here as a tag team, and they can also we've seen them do their singles thing. Like I wouldn't mind seeing either of them take on Kyle Fletcher for the ROH TV Championship. So just fun things for them. I popped huge for the Vince Carter frog splash from that was amazing from Dante. And the best part about it, if you watch it again, people, if you missed this, watch it again and look at Darius in the background. The pride he had watching his brother hit it, he can't hide it. He couldn't hide it. The pride was there. It was so cool. I love a brother. I'm a sucker for brother tag teams, and I talk about it probably all the time. But I remember seeing these guys like post their videos on Facebook in wrestling groups, saying we are going to be the next best tag team. Watch us, we're top flight, this and that, and they would get called flippy doos, and get all the hate online that comes their way. Yeah, so like I always think back to that when I see them doing these things, and it's so fun watching them succeed. I'm a big fan of Top Flight, and this match was awesome.
Yeah, it was a great match. This was the match I was looking forward to.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like I said, my reaction as I explained it was just that. I was just excited that all four of them were actually going to be on this show.
Yeah,
because the ROH roster almost seems to like it can include anyone from AEW at any time.
Yeah, it's funny. When I came up with that thing, who do you want Kyle Fletcher to face? I looked up the roster real quick just to confirm I was picking an ROH person, and there wasn't a lot, but I was like, wait, what about this person? What about this person? What about this person that I've seen on ROH? But technically they're not ROH people. They're just AEW adjacent,
Right. But at the same time, like you know what I mean? Kyle Fletcher probably wasn't on the ROH roster until they decided he was going to win the championship.
Yeah.
Next, we had Mark Briscoe, and he defeats Serpentico. I mean, I like this match. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Mark Briscoe's a fucking star. And I like Serpentico, but every week he's something different. He's a face. He's a heel. You never really know with him what's going on. So, like, the fans can't get attached. I can't get attached. And I just find it hard to not look at this match as kind of a step down from where I think Mark Briscoe should be. Maybe this is because he was like also on Dynamite, so they wanted to give him something. They didn't want to put him in like a match where he has to go like 15 to 20 minutes. I don't know.
Maybe they were like, it's your birthday, we'll give you a break.
That might have been it. Maybe it was his birthday and he got to choose his opponent, and I'm the asshole. Maybe
you're the asshole. I always thought him and Jay were twins.
I did know that because
I always thought they were twins. Yeah, I always thought they were twins. Today's his birthday, and then next week on Thursday, which is my birthday, is Jay's birthday.
Right.
I always thought I only had Alicia Keys on my birthday. Now I have Jay Briscoe.
I've got Scotty Too Hotty. That's good enough for me.
And Bret Hart.
And Scotty.
I forgot you don't like Bret Hart. I always forget that.
It's not that I don't like Bret Hart. I really like Scotty Too Hotty.
I know you love Scotty Too Hotty.
Scotty Too Hotty is definitely the highlight for that one.
I mean, it's okay.
Speaking of highlight, I think Mark Briscoe should be presented as a highlight. Like
he is. Like, he's definitely a highlight.
Another guy.
He's like ROH OG.
For like you spoke earlier about how this crowd was good. For me, when this match came on, I thought like the crowd had not been as loud as they were for Mark Briscoe, and even as the night went on, I'm not sure they got louder than they did for Mark Briscoe. Like the crowd was really electric for him. It might be, because of the emotional component and the emotional connection that everybody has to him right now and his family. That might be part of it. But even without that, I think Mark Briscoe's an ROH legend who still kind of feels like his career is like just getting started. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mark, he's OG ROH. When I think ROH is the first, the Briscoes are the first people I think of. Like, yeah, I kind of feel you with like this. Like, I like Serpentico, but it was weird that you saw him against Mark Briscoe. It was a weird pairing, in my opinion. In your opinion, that I'm agreeing with. I mean,
right? No, 100%. And it's like you mentioned it, like ROH. like we see some storylines. Most of them are kind of in the women's division. And then we've got Johnny TV and Distraught Dalton. But other than that, and we got a hint of who's coming after Kyle Fletcher next. More on that later. But like other than that, it seems like someone's got it. Like Mark Briscoe, if he's not on AEW, he's not in a story. If he's on AEW, they'll find a story for him to be part of. They'll make it, but like with ROH, it's like, okay, let's give him a match, do the code of honor, everyone, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I might just be salting up the sea right now. I might be salty, I might be a salty cracker right now. It's a chance. Hopefully we get something in store for Mark Briscoe, but the way ROH has been moving, it doesn't seem like that's how they're going to work it. This kind of seems like it might be status quo. And I wish they could give me a throwback to the old ROH where we had stories, where we had feuds, where stars got made and stars got paid.
Yeah, that's, I like all the wrestlers on ROH. I know we talked about it last week. I like the matches. But the storylines, like there's barely any storylines going on. There's some storylines, don't get me wrong, but there's not a lot. And also, I just don't. The other thing with ROH is I never feel like I'm gonna see a match of the year contender or a banger on this show.
Right.
And that makes me sad.
We get good matches.
But nothing that's like something you talk about. Like,
right.
We talked about Claudio and like John Cena on Monday Night Raw before, as one of the greatest like a great match, like a banger match,
Right.
And like, I just don't, great match. And I could pick a match of the night, but I don't think I could pick a match of the year or a match that I'll talk about in like 5 years.
Right. Very few things happen that are going to get talked about at the end of the week when everyone decides to sit down and talk about the biggest wrestling headlines, highlights, matches, who beat who did what. The only thing that the Kyle Fletcher title defenses, because he kind of has been doing them consistently every week. He's also on AEW, so there's kind of reasons to keep in the conversation, but really they don't move the needle very much when it comes to like making headlines and stuff like that.
Yeah, like they save big moments. Like I would be surprised if I saw a title change on an ROH show. I feel like I would see it on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, and like, that's the thing. Their pay-per-views are all bangers, and their pay-per-views give us fucking 5-star matches, and the pay-per-views
100%
give us matches and things that we talk about. Pay-per-views are must-see TV, but the ROH show just seems like it's almost disconnected from it. And it's just kind of it's just something so they can say we're doing Ring of Honor.
Right. So like for ROH, I don't know if you do this, and like I'm doing behind the scenes stuff for people listening. Obviously, as the match happens, I like type up the match, and I usually put whoever defeats whoever before the match even starts, because I usually know who. I'm like, oh, well, obviously Nyla's winning. Obviously Claudio's winning. Like, these are people that I'm like, usually this person's going to win. And that's another thing that I have with ROH. I don't mind predictability, but it's like, oh, you're just having these matches and I already know who's winning.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never super surprised. Once in a blue, maybe, but I'm never like unbelievably surprised.
It just doesn't feel like Ring of Honor. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's because I'm such a fan of what Ring of Honor was.
And how we used to like go all the time.
Yeah,
and
and like
it was our indie baby, Yeah. Maybe that's
like even like they finally gave us the tag team champions, right? And I said, I was so happy to hear them. I'm sorry, to see them wrestle and get reminded how good they are, and it was a great win. But at the same time, these guys are in the biggest faction going right now on AEW. So it's like if you are putting them in, and if I'm gonna have to go like another 2-3 weeks wondering what's going on with them, maybe they should have cut a promo also.
Right.
Like milk them for what, because then maybe we've got something to talk about.
That's another thing.
They're newsmakers, they're headliners.
Yeah, that's another thing we talked about too. Nobody cuts a promo in the ring. I don't think we've seen one promo.
Nyla Rose cuts promos in the ring. She just doesn't have a mic when she's doing it.
Right. But like, other than that, we really don't see it. And it's really disheartening because like, that's how you feed off the crowd. And again, I know when you were explaining your reasoning, it made sense too. But like, I don't know, this crowd was hot, in my opinion. I thought this crowd would have been a good one. So
yeah, I mean, this crowd was having fun. This crowd was happy to see everybody. This crowd was reacting the way they were supposed to reacting, and yeah, this was a hot crowd. They probably would have responded accordingly for an in-ring promo, whether it was a heel or a face delivering it. Next match, we had Diamante defeating Dream Girl Ellie, squashing Dream Girl Ellie. Actually, Dream Girl Ellie. It took me longer to say Dream Girl Ellie's name than this match was.
Yeah, I danced the whole, I love her theme. I love
her theme is great.
So fire.
I thought this was a great squash only because like right before it started and then ended, they were talking about during her fire entrance how should be considered a front runner for if there's a potential tournament to crown the first ever women's TV champion. So the fact that like, if you're going to say something like that, I shouldn't watch her face somebody for like 7-8 minutes who's, kind of a jobber. Like, no, like, boom, hello, goodbye, I'm out. Yeah.
That's another a little salty complaint that I feel. I think they're very reliant on the commentators saying stuff to put some up. Well, she's the next in line for being a contender instead of them having a promo and making them say that they are the next eventually and stuff. They're relying very heavily on the commentators.
With that said, commentators doing their job.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, except Caprice. Woof.
Caprice did his job tonight.
He's rough.
You're rough.
He literally sounds like me when my ADHD kicks in.
You literally sound like you when your ADHD kicks in.
I know, it's awful. Yeah.
Walked into that one.
Oh, man. I'd love to walk into Claudio Castagnoli.
You suck, you know that?
I know. I was like, I'm going to, whatever he says, I'm going with it.
Well, whatever distraught Dalton Castle says.
Oh, my God. This is so silly.
These guys are great. So Lexi's in the back, and she's trying to help distraught Dalton out because she promised that she would ask Johnny. She did. Johnny shut her down, so she asked again, and Johnny TV's laughing, and he says no. But who's listening? Dalton. No, you said no. That was my favorite.
I laughed a lot. Wait a minute. I laughed so hard when Johnny TV called him Macho Man Randy Average. I fucking died. I was like, oh no.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know Johnny his default setting is to go way too silly with his comedy, but he is hilarious. Like,
he's super funny. Yeah, no, he's funny. Yeah. So you said the thing. No.
Here's the thing. So then there's a chase, which of course leads us into Johnny TV's hardcore parkour.
Yeah, and of course, because we had
tell me not, but that chair to the face or whatever he threw at Dalton's face as Dalton was attempting to parkour himself, that shit looked like it hurt. Like I thought he broke his nose.
Yeah, he threw that hard. I was like, oh no. When he sat on the floor, I'm like, is he okay?
It looked like a stunt out of like a movie, but I'm like, oh wait a minute, no, he was literally just hit that man in the face as he was jumping over something. Like he was not able to protect his face at all. He took it right to schnoz.
No,
that was so good.
Yeah, I can't wait for them to actually have a match.
But see, this is what I'm saying. So it's like we've not seen these people touch each other since the last pay-per-view.
I'd like to touch. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my! But like not touch each other, and like they are, really getting us more interested in what's going to happen with these two than a lot of, what else.
But this is like the only storyline going on. I feel.
Well, and the ladies, and the ladies.
Oh, finally, someone's doing a storyline for the poor ladies.
Speaking of the ladies, Lexi Nair is really, really good. She distraught Dalton's on the ground, and so what does she do? She dives right there on the floor with him.
It was great. Yeah, dude, I told you she's a star. I love her.
She
As soon as there's a backstage thing with her, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be good.
She plays off of and this is like a perfect example where this is just uncensored silliness.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Unfiltered. And she rolls with the punches. No, and she hasn't broken yet. Like they haven't broke her.
No. And you can definitely tell everybody's having a good time. And that's
100%.
key. That's key, that everyone's having fun.
Yeah, I hope we get like I hope this feud kind of stretches out. Like I want to see them fight, but then I want them to just continue hating each other, and like eventually I want one of them to win a championship, and then the other one comes knocking again. Like I want them to.
What's gonna happen is they're gonna pull. Hopefully they don't do WWE where then they become a tag team.
I thought that's what you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say what's gonna happen is they're gonna become a tag.
Yeah, what's gonna happen is they're gonna become a tag team. That's exactly what's gonna happen. It's like Sheamus and who was the other one? Sheamus and
Cesaro.
Yeah, Cesaro? Claudio, of course.
How dare you disrespect the bar like that?
How dare you? I was setting it up so we could talk about Claudio again. Obviously.
I don't think so. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I know Danielle better than anyone. She's got the memory.
My mama knows me better than you.
Of a peanut. Goldfish. She's got the attention span of a raccoon.
Do raccoons have long attention spans, no?
Nah, bro. I mean, like they can paint, but then they forgot what they painted, and that's why they keep painting other things. Everyone thinks it's talent. They just don't know what they've been doing. Oh my God. Anyway, guys, we finally had ourselves a ROH TV. Oh, wait a minute. No, ROH TV champion is always on the show. Always defending his championship.
That he is.
Tonight was no different. We had a perfect challenger for him in the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels.
Love Christopher Daniels. This is a good matchup. Last week, I said Daniel Garcia. You said our heel mark favorite, JD Drake. And Christopher Daniels is perfect. It's a good one. I thought this was great.
For the record, I think that question should be retooled for instead of like, who's the next person? Just who do you want to see? That
was who do you want to see?
Okay, I'm just saying, because next week when Daniel Garcia or JD Drake get the nod, me and you can still take our credit. That's
100%. You and I are all about making sure we could take credit. Like that's 100%. Especially you.
Otherwise, what are we doing here?
Especially you. Like literally Samoa Joe wins the title and I was like, everyone said he wasn't going to win it. I'm right. And you're like, well, I guessed it was Adam Cole.
Did I?
You were like, I knew Adam Cole was the devil. I said, yeah, sure. So did everyone else on the planet, Brady.
We might be going into private practice together.
You're like, well, Danielle, you guessed it. So we all guessed it right. Us heel marked here guessed it right. But yeah, absolutely. Right. As we're naming people when they show up, obviously we'll be like, look, because it was who do we want to see him face? It wasn't who's going to be next week. It was who do you want to see him face?
Right. Okay, good.
Yes. Good.
And here's go ahead, continue.
No, I was gonna give a pick right now, but you can go ahead.
Okay, no, don't do that. Save it for later. For this one, and like here's we've kind of been talking about it, but like this should be a feud.
Yes.
Like this, like Kyle Fletcher could have had the matches that he's been having against kind of people that are on a similar level to him. And then you've got an ROH legend, a true vet like Christopher Daniels. He could out of nowhere challenge him. Say, I want a shot at that belt and let's build to it. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Instead you're giving it to us here. There's no setup. There's no backstory. It's not even the main event. You've got another company's championship main eventing an ROH show instead of the only constant being Kyle Fletcher and his championship. Instead of that main eventing against a former ROH world champion, a future ROH Hall. Like, come on. Yeah. And for the record, this is not a complaint about the main event we got. I was very happy with it.
Oh, no, I love the main event.
We get there. Mm-hmm. But this is the second week in a row where I'm kind of saying, like last week, the tag team main event, once again, we said it was like this puts both these tag teams over. This is solid. This is okay, great. Kyle Fletcher's going to be here every week, right? He can get a main event. But if you're not having him main event with Christopher Daniels and you're not really putting him in a program, and I'm assuming the promo we're getting, him and Ethan Page, is going to be for a pay-per-view, then when is Kyle Fletcher going to main event ROH?
He should be main eventing every single week. And even if he doesn't, if there's one thing that you do think is bigger to main event, that's fine. But it should always be that he's going to main event. Unless
Kyle Fletcher's another one where, like, I'd like to hear him cut an in-ring promo.
Yeah, Kyle Poulter.
Like, Don Callis always does the talking for him. But, like, if Kyle Fletcher got some ring time, got some mic time, I think it would help him. And when's he going to do it? It's not going to be AEW.
Did they say he was from Australia?
Yes.
So when he was
part
talking,
of Aussie Open.
I know, but when he was talking in the ring, he didn't sound like he had an accent, unless I missed it. He was, like, talking, and he's like, this is my championship. This is this.
It sounds like you're doing an accent.
Really? I thought I was doing like a boy accent.
All right, so do another boy accent.
Like, this is my title. Wait, now you got me doing an accent. Damn it.
I know what you're doing.
He's like, this is my title. This is mine. And I was like, wait, you don't have an Australian accent. Now
this all sounds the same.
It does?
You've been doing an accent.
All right, then I give up. Forget it. But yes, I do think I agree with you 100% that he should be main eventing. If he's the title that's carrying this, because Eddie's not here, because Eddie's in Yonkers eating his chopped cheese, then.
And it's like, if you're not going to have a main event, he could be one of those guys, especially being a part of the Don Callis family, especially when the fact that he has ties with, here and there, Aussie Open and all that. You could make him, he can be in the top of the show. He could be in the middle of the show. He could be in the bottom of the show. You can throw him multiple places. Let's get a backstage interview talking about how great you are. I'm cool with it. But I was cool with this match. This was a great statement victory for the champ. And I was cool with what happened next, where Ethan Page makes it clear. I'm done being vague. I want the ROH TV championship.
That little opener thing was a little weird, though. She was like, you're being a little vague. And he's like, yeah, I am. And I was like, this is weird. I was like, you cut better promos than this. It was a little weird. I will say I was very confused. And it made me take a step back and be like, I can't believe neither of us said Ethan Page for the ROH TV championship.
Well, you took me by surprise with that question. And Ethan Page has not been on the heel marks, while JD Drake has. So really, I was going to say Mansoor next.
Ooh. Oh, you're saying it already?
No, I'm joking. Man. I'm gonna save Manny. I'm gonna save him.
Okay. Yeah. But this could start it at this point when Ethan Page was cutting his promo. You could have had Kyle Fletcher come back and like stare at him. You know how they do that thing where all of a sudden he stops and he stares, and then they pan the camera over, and then it's just Kyle standing there with a belt, and then he could have said something, and he could have been like, "You want my belt? You come and take it next week, bitch." Crikey.
Could have done it.
Yeah, but they didn't. Maybe we should become producers of the show and writers, and then we could fix it.
Hey, man, let me know where to send those resumes.
Yeah, right? Seriously. But yeah, I thought that could have, but I like that Ethan Page is going to go after it. But he did say like he has to go through people in order to get to the ROH TV championship, right?
No. It sounded like that's where he thought he was going. Like, basically, he said at first that like he needs a huge match at Final Battle so he can get back to winning gold. And so at first, I kind of thought that's what you were talking about. Like, I thought maybe he's okay, so he's still on his path. He still hasn't proved himself. But then I'm like, oh, wait, no, he's talking about World Championship, because that's what he said in the beginning of this whole Ring of Honor run and new Ethan Page. He's like, I want to be World Champion. I want to be AEW World Champion. Before that, I got to be ROH World Champion. So I think he's kind of just climbing the ladder. And so I think he thinks it's like, okay, I need a huge match in Final Battle. I want championships in 2024. I'm done playing around. Kyle Fletcher, you got some gold. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then I think this is one of the things he has to do before he's ready to take on the world champ of either company.
Definitely.
And yeah, it's fun. I mean, listen, we're big fans of Ethan Page here. Ethan Page versus Kyle Fletcher. Yes, please. I'm glad that this is being built up to, as I thought the Christopher Daniels match should have been. Like, if we just got this on TV, I'd be very upset. Final Battle is a big pay-per-view. I'm not going to lie. the wrestling fan in me is kind of just thinking Kyle Fletcher just won the title, even though he defends it every week, and they're kind of building up the reign. Is he ready to lose it yet? And as an Ethan Page fan, I'm kind of like, we could have waited for this. But at the same time, this is one of their biggest pay-per-views. So who knows? Maybe it's time. Maybe it's Ethan Page time.
His time is up. His time is now.
You know what time it was this week?
What?
It was Bang Bang time. Because the Bang Bang Gang are the ROH 6-man tag team champions. The ROH Trios champions, the Bang Bang Gang, the Gun Club, and Jay White. We were reminded of that on this week's show. They went ahead and threw us the package, including their victory this past week and a backstage promo from them. I can't tell if they've turned like it kind of seemed like they were turning babyface with the whole Undisputed Kingdom when they were revealed. Then they called them out like, I appreciate you guys taking out MJF, but you also took me out, so fuck you guys. And we saw them kind of teaming with the Acclaimed again and uniting with them. Now we see them take the gold away from the embassy. So do we think are the Guns and Jay White good? Is the Bullet Club the babyface club now? Is that what's happening?
I think so. I think they could be the babyface, or they could be the tweener club. They could be in between. They don't have to necessarily be babyface, but they also don't have to be heel.
That's what I got
because I did, but be over. Yeah.
Well, because as they were cutting their promos, I sensed nothing face-ish about it. Like it was just the same Guns, the same Jay White, but it just kind of seemed like we're now supposed to be cheering for these guys now, which I'm okay with. I like all these guys, and while I was also fans of the Embassy, I am fans of the Embassy, and I like them being champs. I'm okay with this. I feel like this will be fun. My only worry is, are we gonna actually see these guys on the fucking show?
Yeah.
Like, is Jay White gonna be on ROH? I hope so.
This is a way to get attention. Remember when they had Kenny Omega on Impact? Like, this is what you do. Put people on there. No, you don't have to take away everything. You don't have to take away from other people, but put some people on there, especially if they're tag champions. Put them on there.
Right. And speaking of putting them on, let's put Frantic World on. He's in the YouTube live chat. He says, hey, Brady and Danielle, ROH was good tonight. Do you think we will see both 6-man tag titles become one? Thank you, Frantic World, for the question. Very interesting question, as we were just talking about the fact that prior to the gang, the Bang Bang Gang, almost said something very different. The Bang Bang Gang, but prior to them becoming champions, they were kind of all of a sudden on the same side as the Acclaimed, who are the AEW Trios champions. So they could do that. Because of the fact that this is AEW/ROH, I don't think they will, because AEW likes having as many people be champions as possible. Yeah. They're not going to start. They just united, the Triple Crown Champions thing. So I don't think they're going to do that. If they ever decide to do some type of brand supremacy type of show, like an AEW versus ROH type of thing, then sure, that'd be a fun match. But no, I don't see them uniting. But thank you very much for the question. And guys, don't forget to hit us up with any of your comments, any of your questions. We want you guys to be just as much a part of the show as we are. And please do not forget to go to the one and only place, slamchats.com, where you can support BodySlam.net, the network that has us on here.
Yeah, what he said. Right. Yes. I was like, am I allowed to answer the question?
Did you not answer? I think I saw you answer.
I didn't answer at all.
Okay, go ahead and answer.
Yeah, what you said. No, just kidding. No, I do agree. I do agree with you. I don't think they're gonna separate it because they do like to have it. But I wouldn't be surprised if they combined it and then just had them going back and forth constantly, which unfortunately means back and forth, meaning more on AEW than ROH. I hope they don't do that, but I can see them doing that. Yeah,
like the worst thing that could come from this would be that.
Yeah.
With that said, Bowens, I believe, is dealing with a bit of an injury. So if they were going to do anything like that, it would definitely not be anytime soon.
I love Bowens.
But thanks again, Frantic World,
Thanks, Frankie.
for the frantic question. That takes us into the main event where El Hijo del Vikingo retained his AAA Mega Championship against Action Andretti. Danielle, what do you make of this main event?
Did you call it AAA?
Yeah, I've been saying it wrong the entire time. That it is AAA.
Is it AAA?
The AAA.
I love it.
The AAA Mega Championship. AAA.
I love everything about this because I thought it was a AAA, and I love everything.
Yeah, I've been saying it wrong forever. Yeah, I felt very ignorant.
I like that you get to say the champion's name all the time because I would butcher the shit out of that name. And you just say it so flawlessly and beautifully. It's so eloquently. I love it so much. I really like this match. I love both these guys. I thought it was a great main event. Like we talked about before, it's weird to see another company's championship main event ROH, but I did like this match a lot, and I really like Action Andretti. Like he's fun. I really like him a lot.
Yeah, no, I like this match. It's funny because one thing I loved about this main event was that commentary, especially early on, seemed to just be in awe of what they were seeing, in awe of what they were about to see. It reminded me of like back in the day when commentary was like really put over how amazingly gifted the wrestlers in the ring were. They're doing, don't try this at home, folks. You know what I mean? And so like with two people like this, it was really refreshing because it felt like before anything really happened, they had already been put over crazy by the commentary team. So I did appreciate that. El Hijo seems so established already for some reason that I feel like Andretti got put over just by being in the ring with him. Like that seemed like other than just the championship and the main event, this seemed like a big spotlight for Action Andretti. And meanwhile, this guy's been in AEW matches with like Chris Jericho, but this felt somehow bigger.
Yeah, I think I can't say his name. What is it?
El Hijo del Vikingo.
Vikingo. I want to say Vikingo all the time, and I know that's not correct.
I mean, I think you can do you.
I could do me. I love that.
Nah, please don't.
You know who else I can do? No, I'm just kidding. You set me up again. I'm sorry. I think he's a wrestler. I'm a very big fan of wrestlers that can protect other wrestlers. And I feel like with Action Andretti, like you said, he was people have been in the ring with Chris Jericho. And I feel like this guy is really good. And this guy really showcases others' ability and that there's trust there. And he's just so great to watch. And they really complemented each other during this match.
Here is what I want to say.
Oh,
I want to say that like he's so good at thinking on his feet.
Yeah.
Because I guess there was a couple times where I think something just didn't. I'm not going to call it a botch because it's not. I just think something didn't go the way it was planned. But like within half a second, you can see he's calling audibles. He's calling the plays. And at one point it was just like, okay, Andrade just gave him his body and let him do what he wanted to do with it. And you know what I mean? And I think the spots I'm talking about. Like, you know exactly. Yep. See it. Like you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Like
I know.
It was. I almost feel like stuff like that is more impressive than if it went perfectly.
I feel like there's a lot of wrestlers like that do it, but not a lot, but there's few and far between wrestlers, I should say. There's people I can name off the top of my head, and like he's definitely one that comes to mind. His also wrestling technique, he does stuff that can be botched easily, but what's really good about it is when he does botch, and I'm not saying he botches a lot, but when there are botches, because some of the techniques he does on the rope and stuff like that are things that you can easily botch.
Yeah.
It's almost like he fixes, like you said, he thinks on his feet and he's like, oh, this didn't work. So instead of me jumping here, I'll do this jump and I'll do this move and it will be okay. And it's almost like, wait, was that supposed to be a botch? And he's very good at thinking on his feet.
Yeah. And he called spots really fast where you can kind of catch it, but then it happened already. And you're kind of like, okay.
It's really fun.
That springboard really across the ring was
awesome.
My
God. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think they called it like he pummel horsed across the ring, but that was sick.
What a good wording.
And once again, credit to commentary, because before he attempted the move, they were kind of like, he's too far away. He's too far away. And I love when commentary does that, because they, we see it all the time with Montez Ford, because that guy can fly higher in the sky. This launched, like they set it up and he knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. Do you know what one of my favorite things commentators say? I don't know why. When someone does a move off the top rope and they're like, oh, nobody's home. I don't know why I love that saying. I just love it when they do the move and someone rolls out of the way and they're like, oh, nobody's home.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's one of my favorite lines from commentary all the time. I can't wait for them to say it as soon as they roll. I like wait to hear it. It's one of my favorites.
So I love that you said you love Action Andrade, because I like him too, but I think I want to hate him.
Did we do a role reversal on this episode?
No.
You are salty as
No. You're misunderstanding me.
Oh.
I want to hate him. I think he should be a heel, is what I'm saying. I think I might be ready for an Action Andretti heel turn. And
no,
I'll be honest with you, Danielle. I think he might be ready. I think he might be ready for it too. Because if you saw after the match, there was just a little bit of hesitation before he adhered to the code of honor.
Hate the code of honor.
There was hesitation there. And eventually he switched to like, okay, I almost had you, but it looked like he might hit him. And I don't think anyone in the back told him to do that. I think these are decisions he's making, because he might want us to hate him too.
I think when he realized they wanted him to do the code of honor, he realized how fucking stupid it was and decided not to do it.
That might be it.
That might be it.
You never know.
The code of honor might be my new triple threat. Like, I can't. I hate it so much.
Well, what did you think about what Kyle Fletcher did after beating Christopher Daniels? Puts the hand out while Christopher Daniels is down. I thought he was gonna just shake his like limp hand, but instead flips it into the I don't even know what you call that. The big bird? Like,
Astrid?
Is this the little bird and this is the big bird? I don't know.
I don't know.
They're both supposed to mean the same thing, right?
Who was the one last week that he shook his hand while he was he did the code of honor while he was like laying on the ground with his limp arm? Who did that last week?
I forget. I was trying to think earlier. It was hilarious though.
Oh, I know who it was. It was what's her face's brother that they told us 15 times it was his brother. Right? Was it him?
Zach Knight, Soraya's brother. Yeah.
Was it him? Yeah. I like that. You could do that, but the code of honor is very dumb to me. I do not like it. I am not a fan. Nope. Nope. If you do that, I automatically don't like it.
Once again, you heard it here first, folks. Action Andretti, heel turn. It's coming. It's coming.
No.
It's coming. No. And I think it could work. I think he's got a versatile style. I think I saw a lot of him. Like, in this match, he didn't do anything to get booed, but he was playing the heel. He
well,
wasn't.
That's because Vikingo is a darling. People love him.
Right. And sometimes you have to do that based on who you're wrestling. And what I saw from Andretti, I liked. I think it would translate well. I think it would work. He might need a mouthpiece, but I think he'd make a good heel.
I don't think. Have I heard him give promos or anything?
I've heard a little bit, but it's been with him in Top Flight. It kind of just sounds, I don't know. It's mash. I think a mouthpiece would help him until he's ready.
It's meh. All right, we're at the end of the show. So here comes the question, Brady.
I'm ready.
Here's the question. Who do you want to see face Kyle Fletcher for the ROH TV Championship?
Ethan Page. I win!
You think that's going to happen next week? What happens when it doesn't happen next week?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's not going to happen next week, but we're getting our picks in so that as
before I say my pick, I'm now going to counter what you just said. What's going to happen is Ethan Page is going to want to fight Kyle Fletcher, but Scorpio Sky is going to come and he's going to say, "No, I'm gonna have a match with Kyle."
Nah, bro. Scorpio Sky is going to challenge Eddie Kingston. He's going to say, "Bro, I fucking like those Oreos. How dare you?"
Nope.
She's not evil.
Nope. That's what he's going to do. I think that's what's gonna happen.
So I have a pick. I was
You already
joking.
picked.
Obviously, my pick was not Ethan Page because we know.
You know what I like what you do? You pick two. Like secret, like you picked two last week too.
I'm not actually picking Ethan Page, the guy who just challenged him.
Well, Homer Simpson to wrestle him.
So wait a minute. So you would allow me to pick the guy that just challenged him? We know they're gonna face.
You can pick whoever you want. You could pick Big Bird if you want. I don't care.
I would never pick Big Bird. Big Bird's a big pussy.
How dare you? Big Bird is 6 years old.
Okay, so he's a
child.
Okay, so he is a little pussy, whatever.
That's
regardless.
How
is he 6? Big Bird is older than all of us.
He's 6 years old.
How
old is Big Bird? What do you mean? He doesn't eat.
Jesus.
What?
Anyway, my pick is a guy that commentary
6 years old
mentioned might be getting back into the swing of things and winning a championship. They didn't mention the world championship. They did mention the TV championship. So I'm thinking Mark Briscoe might be getting an opportunity, and I'd love to see it happen. Which I was saying earlier, Mark Briscoe's a guy that needs to be treated like a big deal. What better way to do it than have him come out after a successful Kyle Fletcher defense and stake his claim at the gold?
I am going, because this is who we want to see facing.
Right.
I am going with someone who is not signed to ROH. Who is not signed
to Scorpio
AEW.
Kai pick was bullshit. Who's picking 2 now?
I countered your response.
Joking, dude. Calm
How
down.
dare you? Yeah. He's not AEW. He's not anything. So I am going with Effie. I would love to see Effie face Kyle Fletcher.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Effie, big
I think that would be a fantastic I think Daddy would be the perfect match for him. I think it'd be really fun because I think it would throw Kyle off because Kyle, this sounds really weird saying, but Kyle's kind of all American looking, even though that makes no sense now that, because I know he's Australian, but he's and I think like their looks would look really interesting in the ring, and the way they both wrestle would be very
they'd have a great match. Yeah, they'd have a great match.
I know. So
that would also kind of like that would be fun because it would set the precedent for like other indie darlings, for lack of a better term for the record, because I hate that phrase. But
I like that phrase. Greats, you don't like it?
Not really. A lot of indie greats, a lot of indie headliners, a lot of indie names that are making waves. They could all of a sudden, it could be a thing to now challenge the TV champion for ROH and get him more shine, get him more acclaim, get him on the radar of AEW and of Ring of Honor. I think that's a fun idea. I like it. I hope it happens.
Yeah, be a true open challenge championship.
Yeah, because the truth is we don't really ever see Kyle Fletcher making open challenges. We kind of just see him defending his title against whoever.
He says he does say it's open. Right. I think it's kind of an open challenge, and it's whatever. Sorry.
But we don't ever see, like, I think an open challenge is when the champion comes out and then he doesn't know who's facing. We kind of all find out at the same time. So these, to me, have not been coming across as open challenge. It kind of just comes across as the TV championship is defended every week, and we don't necessarily know who against until that day.
Right. So, yeah, I'm going to put out in the world Effie. I want that to happen.
That's a fun one.
I wonder what song can he come out to Elton John?
Honestly, Tony Khan.
Yeah, Tony Khan would just buy it. Tony Khan would be like, yeah, he'd be like, Elton, can you make an appearance real quick? I know you're retired from friggin' MSG. Can you just come out for
bro? He paid 50 Cent.
Like, oh yeah, I forgot they did that. I was talking about that not too long ago, and it completely slipped my mind. Many men. Yeah, I didn't realize he paid 50.
Well, of course, yeah.
I know. I was talking about that song the other day, and you just realized, like, yeah, he had to pay 50 Cent for that song.
I remember during that entrance being so sad. Like, I was so happy, but I was so sad because I'm like, no shot is this their new theme.
Oh,
which means
yeah.
this is only happening once. Like, and this entrance is so fire. That song went so good. It was so money with the like the 360 smoke entrance. Like, it worked so well. I was like, oh man, I wish this could be regular. Like, I wish this was life.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's my pick. Sorry.
That's your pick. That's my pick, guys. We wish we knew your picks. And listen, this YouTube video is going to be up forever. So whether you're watching it with us live or whether you're watching it in the future, throw those comments down at the bottom. Let us know who you want to see. ROH TV champion Kyle Fletcher face. Let us know anything you want. We're going to read them all. We'll get to them next week. Do not forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe. Thank you for the donations. We will see you guys next week. Do not forget to follow us. We are the Heel Marks, and we are at the Heel Marks. She is at Being Clever on Twitter. She's at DCC. What is it, 295?
How dare you? 125. My birthday next week.
125. That's right. It is her birthday next week, people. We gonna see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Mark of Honor. You guys are the best, and we are just trying to be like you.